Hello guys, welcome back to another episode of Spilt the Pull-Up. Hello, welcome back for another week. Again, so grateful for everyone that's listening or watching right now. If you're new here, kia ora, my name is Bailey. I created Spilt the Plot because I love to yap, and I love specifically to yap about books and media, TV shows, movies, anything that you can think of. I just love to talk about it and love to yap about it, and I just wanted to create a community where people can listen and collaborate with ideas about things or tell me about their favorite books and give me some inspiration, because as much as I'm here to talk and give my ratings and say, hey guys, read this, watch this, I would love to hear your guys' ratings and inspire me to read books that I think that I would never pick up without anyone telling me to pick it up. So today's episode, if you haven't seen the title, Kindle versus physical books. I feel like I'm a bit of a balance between the two. I love me a physical book, love me a Kindle. I really dive into it and just kind of give you guys my opinions on both and what I prefer for which reason. And I'm really excited for you to listen and see, I guess, how I prefer my Kindle in some spaces and physical books in other spaces. But before we jump into that, I want to start a new segment. So I feel like I am always yapping on here, but people join and listen and they don't really know much about me. So I thought that every normal episode, we could start off with a new segment that I've decided to call What's the Haps. And it's just me talking about everything that's been going on, explaining what I've been doing, what's been happening, what I've been reading, what I've been watching. And then obviously after that, we'll jump into Last Current Next segment before we actually jump into what we're talking about today. So for the first segment for What's the Haps, I'm actually really excited because it's been a bit of a week since I last saw you guys on Wednesday. Since Wednesday, because I went away and I've been away for work purposes, and while I was away, I actually had the opportunity to go to this little cute indie bookstore, and it is called Scorpio Books. It is in Christchurch, and it was such a cool experience. I went in not knowing what to expect. Some people had gone before me a few days before and they were like, it's super cute, you're gonna love it. And I went with this expectation of like, I don't know what I'm expecting of this bookstore, but it was so cute. Like the way that they've got it set up is very rustic library store vibes. You have to like really walk around to find what you're looking for. They have like cute little signs hanging from the ceiling that says like romance, psychology, history, and it's like all over the place. All the science fiction is on like the far back right corner. And it's just like filled with so many options. Like when I say so many options, I'm talking about books that you would kind of have to buy online to get shipped to your house kind of options. And the horror section, I found books that I've never seen before, never heard anyone talk about, which was so great. I bought a couple and I went twice and I ended up with 3 books in total. I bought Wake Up and Open Your Eyes by Clay McLeod Chapman. I also bought Survive the Night by Riley Sager, and then I bought a dark romantasy. It's not romantasy, it's dark romance. I'm actually not quite sure what it's actually about. It's a dark romance, like dark sports romance. That's what I was trying to say. Oh my goodness. It's a dark sports romance called Beautiful Venom by Rena Kent. I've not read any books by Rena Kent before, and I'm a little bit intimidated by that big series. It's like God of Fury, those ones. I'm a little bit intimidated, so I thought I'd start with one of her smaller series. So now I'm back, and I flew back a couple days after the episode released last week, and the day after I got back, I did a 12-hour readathon, and it was my first ever 12-hour readathon. It was the best thing I've ever done. To just sit there and read all day was so good. I think I did a bit of a realistic one where it was like I actually had to go out and do some exercise. I went for a run, but I had the audiobook in my ears, so I was still basically getting through the book while I was out and about doing realistic life things. But I came home and I flew through yesteryear, and then I picked up one of the books that I bought when I was away called Survive the Night by Riley Sager, and I will jump into my explanation about the book when I do my last current next. But wow. wow. I was just, I really want to do another 12-hour readathon. It's quite consuming energy-wise. You really, like for me, for example, I can't sit down for too long. So I was really struggling to stay in one place. I had to move different places to read. I was in my bed. I was outside. I was walking around with the audiobook in my ears, doing things. Like I just needed to get busy sometimes. So if you're a bit like me, I really highly recommend just having a few places in mind, like getting ready for a 12-hour readathon, being like, okay, well, it's a nice day outside. I can read outside. So get the cushions ready. Maybe find a cute little spot to go to read. Like if you're a bit like me, that's what really worked for me. For the rest of the month though, I really want to lock in on my reading. I want to get as many books as I can done. I've been buying a lot of books, but not actually consuming or reading a lot of books. So I want to keep up with the pace that I'm buying books at, which I could just slow my book buying down, but that's a real unrealistic goal for me. So instead, I'm going to try and meet my pace of buying books by reading at that pace, and hopefully I can just fly through some books. I've been really enjoying reading this month, and I just want to keep going. I'm reading all sorts. I've got thrillers, horrors, romance, dark romance, fantasy. Like it's just a bunch that I'm reading this month. So it's been a really good reading month so far, and I'm really excited to just keep going with it. Jumping into my last current next reads, I have 2 last reads because of my 12-hour readathon. I did finish one and I got halfway through another one, and then I finished that the next day. I needed to know what happened. So my 2 last books were Yesteryear by Cara Claire Burke and Survive the Night by Riley Sager. To start with Yesteryear, I'm a little bit confused about the ending. I was expecting more, and I completely understand when people say that they're a little bit like thrown off during the middle. It kind of drags a little bit, but you need to keep reading, and it's like it is a little bit important for the storyline for you to like understand what's going on in the middle of the book. I was expecting something massive, a big plot twist, but it wasn't. It was quite a normal twist to it, and I don't know if it's just that I don't have appreciation for that type of writing style. I still really enjoyed it, but I wasn't gobsmacked. Like it definitely wasn't a 5-star for me, but I'm aware of the mixed reviews, and I'm wondering if it's just maybe not the type of book that I would rate 5 stars, but it's someone else's 5 stars, if that makes sense. Survive the Night by Riley Sager. I'm just going to give it its moment because I don't know if this is genuinely just a perfect timing for me to read the book kind of vibe. Like first off, I'm just going to preface, Riley Sager is one of my favorite thriller writers, but there was just something about Survive the Night that I absolutely loved. And I think it's because I've been craving a 90s slasher horror thriller movie for a really long time, and I haven't been able to find a movie, but I found that satisfaction in this book, and I truly could not recommend this book anymore. Like, if it's set in 1991, it's snowing down, and it's like you don't know who the killer is, you don't know what's happening, and I feel like if I could really explain it, it's like Scream mixed with like the Shining vibe. Like that's what I'm picturing, and I just could not recommend it anymore. I just loved it so much. So if that is something that you are interested in or wanting to read, or even if you're like, where do I begin with thriller? This is the one. Please read it. I loved it so much. And my current read at the moment is Wake Up and Open Your Eyes by Clay McLeod Chapman. This book is, so far, I have no words. I'm kind of being thrown in spaces I wasn't expecting to be thrown with this book. It is very much horror, very much psychological. Like the things that are happening in this book is not what I was expecting. Basically, the main character, he gets a call from his parents and they say something weird. So he goes over to check on them and they're like in a trance. Weird stuff starts happening and they like watch this news channel that's just been really weird. And then all of a sudden, there's like a mass hysteria happening all over the country and nobody knows why. And it kind of just dives into like how this character is going to like fix it, and it kind of goes through the levels of like how this mass hysteria has happened. And yeah, I'm just over halfway. My bookmark is incorrect, but look how cute it is. If you're listening, I've got this like cute little bow bookmark in my horror books, and I feel like it's just like a cutesy way to be like horror book but make it cute. But yeah, I'm just over halfway. Really weird. The chapters are really strange. Like sometimes I'm listening to the audiobook. The audiobook is like, the chapter is an hour and a half long just because of the way it's written. It's really interesting. I very on edge about how I feel about it, though. I don't know how to begin to explain it. So when I finish it, I will get back to you guys about like fully how I feel. And then my next read, I'm so excited. Also, first of all, can we just appreciate these sprayed edges? If you're listening, these sprayed edges on this book is so gorgeous. And this book is none other than The Night and the Moth by Rachel Gillig. This book, I've seen so much good reviews, so much good words said about it, so many good things said about it, and I'm really, really excited. I love the Shepherd King duology, so I have no worries with me loving this. I love her writing. I love her creativity. I think that it's just above anyone else's. So I'm really, really excited to get into this one. And I'm pretty sure, correct me if I'm wrong, but there is either another book coming out or it has released. So I really want to get into this one so I can read her next book. I'm really, really excited. So, jumping into today's topic, Kindles versus physical books. I say versus, but really it's like or in situations. Like, would I prefer to read this on my Kindle or would I prefer to read the physical book? And there's multiple different reasons why I prefer one or the other. And I want to talk about them because I feel like some people are maybe shying away from Kindles for some reason, or some people only love Kindles and are like, I could never go back to a physical book. And I see both sides to it, but I also come from a place where I'm actually someone who sits in the middle. Sometimes I jump between my Kindle and physical books, but really, what is the difference to me? Well, the first difference is that sometimes I feel like, depending on the series, that a physical book feels more immersive. I feel like I can fully, like when I'm opening the book, I can fully immerse myself into this book. I'm sitting up, I'm getting ready to read. Like with a physical book, you've got to do a little bit more. If you're reading it in bed, you might have a light or something like that. I just feel like having the physical book in my hands sometimes makes me feel more fully immersed in this book. Also, if it is a big book, which my type of genre tends to be, romantasy, fantasy, they tend to be quite big books. Reading a big book like that on a Kindle can be quite hard. Like the chapters are so long on this little Kindle, whereas like I feel like it goes faster when I'm going through the physical book. Like for Diabound, for example, they're quite larger books, but I feel like I'm getting through it quicker in the physical book because I can get through the chapters faster, if that makes sense. I hate when a chapter feels really long on a Kindle. It drives me nuts. I'm like tapping to see how much longer it's got, which is why I think I just prefer to read fantasy books, because fantasy chapters are so long. They're huge. Like it just keeps going and going, and you're in the next day, but you're in the same chapter. Like, whereas other books aren't really like that. The second difference, obviously, a Kindle is way more practical. If I'm reading in bed and it's dark outside, I don't have to pull out a lamp. I can just hold the Kindle. I've got my cute little pop socket on it, and I can just hold the Kindle and read in my bed. Very easy to take around with you if I'm on the go. I don't have to put this massive book in my bag. I can just carry my little Kindle, and it's just very, very practical for being out and about. I also like to hold it and change the font. I feel like sometimes, depending on the book that I'm reading, I prefer a bigger font or I prefer a smaller font. I'm very much like, it depends on my mood and depends how I feel. So I like that I can access the size that I want to change it to, and I can edit things how I would like it to look. And I also feel like sometimes I can smash out a book quicker on a Kindle than a physical book. Like, for example, I read The Divorce in one night. I feel like having it on my Kindle, I was able to just put up my Kindle, have it up front, have my little Kindle button pusher thingy, my bobby, and just tap through the pages, which was so much easier compared to having the physical book, I feel. And that's only with some books. The third difference is a physical book is cute for trophies. And when I say this is that when you complete a physical book, it's really, really nice to have it sit on your shelf and be like, yeah, I read that. I did that. For example, Alchemized. I was not reading Alchemized on my Kindle. No way. I wanted that trophy. I wanted to be like, I read this. You can see the creases on it. Sorry for those that don't like book creases, but you can see the creases on it. I've put it on the bookshelf. It's there. I've read it. Like, compared to a Kindle where like you read it once and then you don't really get to see it anymore. Also, if you're on Kindle Unlimited, the idea of you can only have so many books, so you have to get rid of one to get another Kindle Unlimited book. It's sort of like you don't have that trophy anymore, which is why originally when I was only reading on my Kindle, I made my TBR jars because of the fact that I loved to have a trophy when reading. So I made my TBR jars, and then if you've never seen them, I've got little mini books in a jar, and every time I finish reading one, I'll put it in the red jar. And it's just a way to make me feel accomplished, which is really nice because sometimes closing a book is not enough to feel accomplished. I also feel like if this is your thing, if you enjoy collecting special editions, this is like a perfect way to do it. Obviously, buying the physical book, it's really fun to buy the special editions. I don't tend to buy special editions, but it's more of I don't really have the space for special editions, but if I could, I would. Some of those special editions are gorgeous, but I just don't have the space for it. But if that is your thing, a physical book is definitely down your alley. The fourth difference is with a Kindle, I feel like there's just something cutesy and artsy about being able to decorate something that, you have around all the time. For example, with a physical book, I feel like you can only really maybe make a cutesy little bookmark and put that in, or I know that some people bedazzle books. I wouldn't be able to bedazzle books. I feel like if I did something that permanent and then I didn't like it anymore, it would really suck. But I know that's a little bit of something for people. So if that's something you enjoy, I think it's really cute, but it's one of those things where I think it's cute from afar, but I would never do because I'm scared, A, I would ruin my book, or B, I would not like it after a certain amount of time. So I appreciate the bedazzling of a book, but I couldn't do it compared to my Kindle where I can put pop sockets on it, I can put stickers all over it, I can do this, I can do that, I can put a Kindle insert inside, and it's all very cutesy and I can do it. I know that people sell inserts and I know that people can buy all sorts of little accessories. I love that. I prefer to make my own inserts. A, I'm saving money, but B, I get to make it mine. I get to put what I want on it. I can just go on Pinterest and make whatever the aesthetic that I'm feeling is, and then just pop it in with whatever I'm feeling for that time. I love buying pop sockets for my Kindle, and I love the accessories, all the bedangles, all the jewels that hang off it, even the dust stopper and the charging port. I love those. Those are so freaking cute. I have these gold ones and they've got little butterflies on it. I love it. And I feel like there's just something super exciting about having this really, really great fantasy book in your hands with all these like jewels hanging off it and like pop sockets, and it's very cutesy and very artsy, and I feel like that's a major pro about having a Kindle. The fifth difference is being able to download books that are hard to find at bookstores or libraries that no longer publish these books. So what I mean by that is you can, I guess there are loopholes to get books on your Kindle, to download PDFs, whatever that looks like. I don't personally know how to do it. I've never done it before, but I know that it's a thing. You can download PDFs from other books and books that you maybe can't get at libraries anymore or online and buy it. You can download it on your Kindle. Again, I don't know how to do that. I've never done it before, but I've seen people do it. But also, if you are really, really wanting a book and it's sold out everywhere, your Kindle, it's right there. You don't have to like put things on hold. You don't have to wait for it to come back into stock. It's there. It's so good. And then like for me, I will really, really want a book. It's super popular. It gets sold out and I'm like, great. Okay, so what now? What I will do is I will read it on my Kindle, and if I really, really love it and I really want the physical book, when the hype dies down, I can buy the physical book because there's lots of stock. But it is hard because I'm like, no, I want the physical book right now. But it's the delayed gratification and the patience of being able to read it on your Kindle, appreciate it on your Kindle, and then buy the physical book later. So I do feel like that is a major pro about having a Kindle, is that you don't have to wait for stock. You don't have to wait for someone to return it at your library. Like, it's just there, ready for you to read, ready whenever you want it. If you're away on holiday, for example, as well, and you're like, oh, I forgot this book, or oh, I really wanted to read this, or I finished my book and I have no other books, Kindle, buy another book. It's right there. It's so good. It's just, yeah. So again, really, 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 really good for popular books, not in stock, can't find a book. It's right there in your palm. So that is all of my differences that I feel like really stand out for me. As a lover for both Kindle and physical books, I truly see the need for both. And people are going to be like, you don't need both. Either read physical books or own a Kindle. No, I need both. I prefer both. I prefer reading popular books physically and reading my cute little thriller books, or books that might not be very common in libraries or bookstores. I love to read it on my Kindle. I love to decorate and be cutesy with my Kindle, but I also love to be immersive in a physical book, especially in my fantasy books and my romantasy books. There's just something about that. And I think that either way, both serve a purpose for different reasons, and they're both great. I love them both, and I love that you can have trophies with physical books after reading it on your Kindle. If you really desire, if it's really something that you read it on your Kindle and you were like, I loved this book so much, I am going to buy the physical book, you can. Who's stopping you? Other than, well, who's stopping me? My bank account is stopping me. But realistically, that option is there if you have the means to it. In my opinion, if you are on the fence of like whether or not to get a Kindle, or whether or not you're like, I don't know if it's going to be worth my money, I would actually have a look into it and see if it's something that, like, actually be serious about it and have a look at it, because I bought my Kindle when I wasn't really a reader, and it's now made me a reader. Like, I love reading so much, and it's just fully changed my perspective on reading. It's so handy. I take it everywhere. It's basically become, and I know this sounds bad, but it's basically become like one of those things that I cannot leave the house without. I need it with me all the time. Even if I know I'm not going anywhere where I can read, I need it with me. I need to know that it's with me. It's like my phone. Like, it sounds really bad, but yeah, it's my phone now. But that is the end of today's episode. I hope that if you're on the fence of either physical books or a Kindle, or if you agree with me, I just hope that you really enjoyed today's episode. Please leave me your thoughts. I would love to know who's Kindle, who's physical books. Like, I would just love to know the ratio between who's who. Next week, obviously, book club episode. It's our last Twilight book club episode, and I will be revealing our new book club book. I will also be putting out a poll because I want to know what everyone thinks. So please look out for that poll on my story. I want to get an idea of really where everyone's at, what we want to read. I might even put out there like, what book does everyone want to read, and then we can do like a final vote kind of vibes. But I'm really excited for next week and to finish off Twilight. I've finished the book and I just cannot wait to talk about it. I'm really excited. I am really sad that Twilight's finished though. I love the book so much, but I do think that I'm ready to move on to another book. I've been sat in this Twilight phase for a few weeks now, and my mood reading is starting to be like, okay, we need to move out of this one. We need to read something new. So yeah, that is all for today's episode. And I truly, truly, truly hope you have the best week. If you're listening in the morning, I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. If you're listening in the car, please drive safe. And if you're listening at night, I hope you have a wonderful sleep and a wonderful rest of your night. And I will see you guys next week at the same time.